The main hero set on the movie is the Replacement Technologies Center, and it is a huge structure that has many parts to it. And the tank, of course, is the real business end of Replacement Technologies. Quite a bit of stuff happens in our tank and our Replacement Technologies set. Most of it is background. Most of it is stuff we see on the when we're in the context of the lab floor, which is why we've got those big windows looking into it, so you can always see interesting stuff behind you.
It's very difficult to shoot in the tank, because whenever you deal with water, with fire, you always have to kind of like prepare for the unexpected.
We're ready. Off we go.
Stand by for picture on underwater unit.
Good. Arnold's in position. Pete, go to position. That looks good. All right. Frame him out. A little closer, please. That's it. Roll camera. Camera is rolling. Very good. And 3, 2, 1, pan. Flank moves. Cut. Excellent. Excellent. That's a print.
Good. Okay, excellent. Very good. All right. Excellent. I'm going to do a close-up, and then after that, we'll do the swim away to the second one. You got it. The close-up, I'm going to move...
Between the two tanks, there's 85,000 gallons of spring water that's been trucked in specifically for the tank for its clarity and cleanliness. The temperature initially started a month ago at about 40 degrees Fahrenheit and has since been heated up to between 90 and 95. It's quite comfortable to work in. Need a temperature that high with talent in the water. Long durations, either in or out of a wetsuit, keeping them warm is very essential.
The tanks themselves are ozonated as opposed to chlorined, which makes it easier on humans working in the tank, like Arnold, because high chlorine content can be irritating.
This pool, although it's warm, it's 10 feet deep. There are injuries relating to breathing underwater that can occur. As well, we have a lot of beams overhead. If he's coming to the surface in a bit of anxiety, I've got to worry about him banging his head. Anytime you're dealing with anybody in the water, especially a star, safety, 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 all the way. The communication underwater can be several different ways. With you working together with somebody regularly, a quick hand signal is all you have time for. Occasionally we use a wireless system where there's an earpiece so people can listen but can't talk back. There's another system where you actually have two-way conversation with each other. Or today we're using Pete's underwater speakerphone. So the director speaks into a mic, everybody in the tank can hear exactly what he wants.
The speaker, as we hear it underwater, is just as we're talking up here. It's a cone inside of a housing, and when it reverberates, it sort of sends the waves, or the sound waves, through the water, and they transmit better than they do on air. Well, the camera housing in this particular situation is made out of aluminum that was all welded together and then split up, and O-rings were put in. Controls for focus and iris, video power, reflex viewing so you can see exactly what's happening, and a video assist cable that would send an image to the surface so that the director and people up on top can see exactly what's happening. The camera that is inside the housing is a standard Aeroflex camera. Standard Zeiss lenses is just encompassed in an aluminum housing.
At some point we probably will break and let 4,000 or 5,000 gallons of water go, but we have dump tanks prepared to up in the ceiling that are hidden, that come down chutes that drop 500 gallons at a time.
3, 2, 1.
It took an awful lot of time and an awful lot of people and a lot of intricacy to actually make the set happen. It was a huge number of departments working in the tank at once, as it were. We had a huge construction presence, an engineering presence. Special effects were heavily involved. There was a huge amount of participation from the set decorators who supply all the hoses. There are outside contract companies who looked after the blanks and the embryonic sacs that they lived in. And the problem anytime you have something like that is you have a huge number of people working in a relatively small place trying to get all their jobs done at once. And unfortunately, normally each job depends on the previous department being finished. So it becomes somewhat of a scheduling nightmare because it's not as simple as construction finish their work and then the painters start. Construction finish half their work, then the painters have to come in to do that little bit, then the construction people go back, and at that point special effects are involved because it ties two things together, and on and on and on. So it's credit to everybody that it actually was built, and in a very short period of time. Chalk lines were laid in December, and the tank was finished at the beginning of March. So it's given the size and the amount of steel and glass is an amazing accomplishment.